are some huge mistakes that can make your very expensive Disney World trip go massively wrong. And I'm gonna make sure that you don't make a single one. These are 11 mistakes that Disney rookies tend to make at Magic Kingdom. And even if you've been 100 times, you can still make some of these. Number 1, thinking the entire park is open for early entry. If you are a Disney World hotel guest, you can get into the theme parks early. The theme parks open 30 minutes prior to their actual opening time for Disney World hotel guests to go ahead and get a head start on some attractions and getting in those popular lines. It's a great perk, but if you aren't careful, it could lead to a pretty big mistake. If you didn't know, the only parts of the park that are open for early entry in Magic Kingdom are Tomorrowland and Fantasyland. The rest of the park stays closed until the entire park opens. So if you were really wanting to get a head start on riding Tiana's Bayou Adventure before park open, you're not gonna be able to, because Frontierland shuttered, closed, unavailable until the park opens. Not every single ride is going to be open during that early entry period, and if you plan your day around getting on one of these rides early, you could end up disappointed and have your plan thrown out of whack. But little change to this that's pretty big. There is a recent change to rope drop that actually allows guests to get in line for rides that aren't open during early entry during early entry. So even though you can't ride the rides before the park opens, you can get ready to and be the first one on when the park does open. This is not for everything, but things like Tiana's Bayou Adventure or Tron Light Cycle Run do offer this option. Number 2, not having a rope drop plan. This is something we talk about a lot on the channel, and a lot of die-hard Disney goers know that you have to do this. That said, it is something that I used to not do and that I wish I had. So it's a big one. Rope dropping is when you get to the park before the park opens or before you're able to get in. That means if it's early entry, you want to get there before even early entry begins. We tend to call the rope drop period from park open until an hour or 2 after park open, depending on how busy it is. And basically, this is that start of the day where crowds are ramping up, and it's the part of the day where you can get some of the shortest lines for some of the biggest rides that you'll see literally all day. A big mistake that a lot of folks make is getting to the park right when it opens. Like, say it's Magic Kingdom, it opens at 9 a.m., they get there at 9. One, it can take a while to get into Magic Kingdom, particularly right at 9 a.m. That's when most people are trying to get into Magic Kingdom. So getting there a little early can actually have you in shorter lines if you have to take Disney transportation, or if you're heading over from the transportation and ticket center. So it helps from that perspective, and it gets you situated at the park before it opens to make sure you get the most out of the park hours once it does open. I also hear a lot of people who are like, oh, I love to sleep in, and I can't go all day if I go early. I'm with you. I'm not a morning person. I hate waking up early. But my preferred way to do a Disney World park is to arrive early, take advantage of those short lines, leave during the super hot, crowded middle of the day and go take a nap in my hotel room or get lunch somewhere else, and then come back in the evening when the weather and the crowds start to chill out a bit. Literally chill out. It is so hot here in Florida. So if you're going to rope drop, a mistake would be getting there at park open. That is not going to be enough to truly take advantage of rope drop. Another mistake would be not having a plan. If you don't know where you're headed for rope drop, you might run into the issue of what we talked about already. You're rope dropping early entry and something isn't open. Or you might end up wasting that time on a ride that will have a short line all day, or even wasting that time riding something that isn't a high priority for you. It's not enough to just follow the crowds when the park opens. You could end up in a crowd headed for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train when that's not something that's a huge priority for you. So just make sure to have a plan and make sure to arrive earlier than you think. My recommendation for a solid rope drop is to arrive 30 minutes prior to you being able to get into the park. If you really want to be first, make it an hour, but that is a lot of waiting to then go wait. I guess you don't have to wait after the park opens, but you're kind of trading your waits. We do have a full guide to rope drop on our channel right now that my friend Fry Bucket did. It is very helpful. I do recommend it if you want to figure out how to get your own plan together. Those are our recommended strategies. Number 3, thinking you don't need reservations. This one's brutal, and honestly, it's a trap that I fall into a lot. If you have any desire to eat at a restaurant that is an actual sit-down restaurant, you need to be thinking about advanced dining reservations. ADRs are Disney's system that helps you book reservations in advance. You can book them up to 60 days in advance. Some reservations book up almost immediately for literally an entire 60-day window. Now, even if they don't, if you're trying to get a reservation 2 weeks out, you might be out of luck for some of the more popular restaurants. So making that reservation in advance guarantees that you're going to have access to these dining experiences. There are some backup plans. For instance, there are walk-up wait lists that you can use where you join a wait list in the app. But for some popular restaurants, waitlists are not offered. And in many instances, the waitlist can be full all day, just at capacity all day. And you'll never see an opportunity to go to that restaurant. So having those must-do dining experiences locked down in reservations is an absolute must. And don't wait too long, because even spots that you don't think are the most famous, most exciting spots can still book up as you get closer to your trip. Some restaurants, particularly character meals or those that are in really dazzling atmospheres like Be Our Guest, you absolutely want to book those as soon as possible, 60 days in advance of your trip. They're really popular, so they do tend to fill up. Reservations tend to open at 6 a.m. Eastern time, but I'll give you a little pro tip. They sometimes open earlier, between 5:30 and 6. So if you are looking for something very competitive, like a new restaurant, get on a little early and start refreshing, because keep that on the down low, because that's a great way to get reservations. It's just, that's if you're really competitive. Obviously 6 a.m. is early. I don't wake up at 6 a.m. for a dining reservation unless it's like, if I don't get this reservation, my trip is ruined. But still, that 60-day in advance is the day you should probably look at booking. The good news is that most reservations won't require quite that level of competitive planning, but I don't know, better safe than sorry. And there are some restaurants that have regular day of availability. So if it's just about having a sit down meal day of, you can probably find a spot. It's just if you have those restaurants that you really want to go to. Number 4, thinking you can wing it. This next one goes a little hand in hand with the reservations one, but it is a big mistake to think you can just wing it in Disney World nowadays. Back in my day, and by back in my day, I mean when I was like 11, it really felt like you could roll up to the park and have a great day. And that is much harder to do nowadays. We love a casual Disney day. We love sort of bebopping around, but Magic Kingdom in particular has 41 attractions, and just rolling up and trying to get through what you want to do can be really overwhelming, and it might mean that you don't get through your priorities. There are tons of cool things to do in Magic Kingdom, but I'll tell you right now, you're not gonna want to do all of them. You're going to have the things that you absolutely must do, and you're gonna have things that you couldn't care less about. And it's important to define those in advance. My actual biggest tip about going to Disney World and going to the parks is to have everybody in your party pick 3 priorities for each park. If you have a bigger party, you can lower that number to 2 or even 1, and then make sure to hit those priorities. Everything else, bebop around, have a good time, just go where the wind takes you. But make sure you're hitting everybody's priorities so that you don't find out at the end of the trip that all your brother wanted to do was go on Tom Sawyer Island one last time before it closed, and you didn't make it on it because you saw Carousel of Progress 3 times. That seems like a weirdly specific example, but it could happen. Another big thing here is if you are bringing kids along, make sure to know those height requirements in advance. Do not get your little ones so excited about going on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad only to find out that they're not quite there yet. And this can also be true for really, really popular rides, particularly if Disney has a virtual queue in place. Right now, Magic Kingdom doesn't have any, but if it does, and you tell your kids, yeah, we're 100% gonna get on that ride, and then you don't get the virtual queue, you could have a meltdown. So setting expectations with height requirements and how difficult it is to get on things, as well as learning those things in advance, can be a big help. Over-planning. The other side of the coin, and a major rookie mistake, is over-planning your Disney trip. Listen, I'm a planner. I'm a spreadsheet girl. When I was a kid, I used to make like 20-page dossiers about the Disney trips my family was gonna take. I love planning a Disney trip, and I love planning every second and coming up with every single little thing we're gonna do. My brother and I, our first ever sibling only trip when he was like 18 and I was 20, we ate 3 dining table service meals a day. 3 of them. We were so sick. They were 3 courses each. Don't do that. If you're planning out every single second of your day, you are setting yourself up for a little bit of failure because things can and will go wrong. They do all the time in Disney World. Disney World is magical, but it's also a park full of human beings. Your family are human beings who might get overheated or sick or tired and angry. And there's technology created by humans that is really, really advanced and oftentimes has some kinks. Plus you have weather. We're in Orlando. This is the lightning capital of the world. I don't know if that's true. People keep saying it to me. So I'm just gonna hedge that there. I'm not sure if that's true, but I do see a lot of lightning. So there's also construction and maintenance that might have your favorite rides closed while you're here. Having everything planned in advance means that when any of these things go wonky, it could ruin everything and cause a chain effect of your plans that just makes it feel like everything's gone totally out the window. So the sweet spot is picking those 3 priorities each that we talked about earlier and then letting everything else be loose. Plan enough, but not too much. It's like eating dessert. You wanna eat enough because otherwise you're sad, but you don't wanna eat too much because then you're sick. This can make it a lot easier to make choices during your day without feeling like you're locked into a super rigid schedule. Keep it a little flexy. Keep it chill, keep it light, keep it flexy. Plan, but not too much. Number 6, big Magic Kingdom mistake is deciding to watch the fireworks last minute. So fireworks are kind of a rite of passage in Magic Kingdom. For most people, seeing that fireworks show happily ever after, which is incredible by the way, is an absolute must do. If you don't plan for the right way to see the fireworks, you won't get the best experience watching them. Main Street becomes wild, which is the best place to view the fireworks between an hour and 30 minutes before the fireworks show, depending on how crowded the park is. If you want a really good spot, you cannot arrive later than 30 minutes in advance, and I recommend arriving a little bit earlier. That's if you want to see the fireworks as they're intended to be seen from Main Street, as well as the projections on the castle. However, if you don't care too much about the projection effects, there are some incredible spots to watch the fireworks that don't mean waiting a super long time in front of the castle to get that perfect spot on Main Street. For one, you can often show up a little bit late as long as it's not super busy and watch from pretty far down Main Street. Get a good sense of the projections, though you may not be able to see everything, and a great view of the fireworks. You can also watch the fireworks from behind the castle. This actually puts you closer to the fireworks themselves and can make it feel like the fireworks are completely surrounding you. Now, if you are leaving after the fireworks, I highly recommend watching it from Main Street closer to the train station and further from the castle. Again, this is not going to be the perfect spot. It's going to be kind of hard to see those projections, but the fireworks themselves will look fantastic and you'll be able to get a good idea of what's happening on the castle. The best part about this spot is that you'll be some of the first folks out of the park when the mad rush to exit happens after the fireworks. And trust me, it can take a literal hour to get back to your car or hotel if you are deep in Magic Kingdom when those firework crowds start to leave. Because the only way to leave Magic Kingdom is via Disney transportation to the Transportation and Ticket Center or to your hotel. And all those people leaving are all going to Disney transportation, and it gets trafficky. I mean, physically trafficky. You'll be in a long line for a ferry boat. I do like to watch from the back because you get a pretty good view and then you aren't stuck forever waiting to get back to your car when you're exhausted. Number 7, skipping classic rides. Hear us out. Now, I know that Magic Kingdom has a lot of very old, sort of boring rides, but skipping those can be a major mistake. When you are new to Disney World, you don't really know what is worth it and what is not. And if something has a short wait, as many of these classic rides do, you might think that it's kind of lame and not worth doing. But that could be a major mistake. If it's your first time in Disney World, you absolutely have to experience rides like It's a Small World or Dumbo the Flying Elephant. Even though Dumbo is kind of just a pick you up and take you around ride and doesn't look too exciting, it is absolutely a Disney World rite of passage to ride that ride, and you can typically get on it with a short wait if you go earlier or later in the day. The thing about these rides is that these rides are what originally set Disney apart 50 years ago when the parks opened. It was what made Disney Disney in the first place. And to this day, those rides are beloved because they still create magical memories. Now, you don't need to only do the classics. The new rides are incredible as well, but don't skip on them just because they don't seem like they're the most exciting. You might find out that one of those classic rides is actually your favorite. Number 8. A big mistake I actually see folks make all the time is thinking that they'll have a quick drink, cocktail, beer, fun-themed something in the afternoon. That's not gonna happen. Magic Kingdom is mostly a dry park. The other Disney parks, walk-up bars, you can drink pretty easily anywhere you are. Magic Kingdom, that's not the case. The only places that you can get alcohol are in Magic Kingdom sit-down restaurants. That's beer, wine, and typically 1 or 2 themed cocktails, but not many options. You probably don't want to do an entire sit-down restaurant just to grab an afternoon beer. So if you really want to have a little drink as a break during your Magic Kingdom day, go ahead and leave the park, hop on the monorail, head to the Polynesian, Contemporary, or Grand Floridian Resort. These are incredible hotels that are right near Magic Kingdom. You can get to them in under 10 minutes via the monorail, and they have some awesome bars where you can grab a quick drink. Come up here, come on. Now, this might be changing because Magic Kingdom is set to open a Pirates-themed bar coming soon to Adventureland, and this might have a grab-and-go drink component, but we're not 100% sure. So keep an eye on AllEars for updates about that. We will definitely be checking out when it does open. Forgetting about how transportation works. Speaking of monorails, which you can take to get to those restaurants, it is definitely a rookie Magic Kingdom mistake to forget how transportation works to and from Magic Kingdom, particularly because Magic Kingdom is pretty complicated when it comes to getting to the park. Once you park your car or take a monorail from the Epcot Resort area, you'll find yourself at the Transportation and Ticket Center. From there, you'll either need to take another monorail over to Magic Kingdom or a ferry boat. Occasionally, they also offer buses, but most of the time it's gonna be the monorail or ferry boat. This is a long path because you're still about 1.5 miles from Magic Kingdom around an entire body of water. This is also where you'll end up if you do take a ride share to or from Magic Kingdom. You'll have to go to the Transportation and Ticket Center. It is a bit of an annoying stop to make when you are super tired at the end of your park day or super excited at the beginning of your park day. So it's definitely a hassle. The original intention that Walt Disney had for this was that you were leaving the real world and going into this magical world. So he wanted it to feel separated, and he didn't want a huge parking lot out in front of the park, but it does have some annoying consequences nowadays. Now, some transportation does come from right at the park gates, including boat transportation to and from many of the hotels, as well as bus transportation to and from the hotels and other locations around Disney World. Also, though most rideshare is dropped off at the Transportation and Ticket Center, there is an upcharge rideshare service offered through Lyft called minivans, which are mini-themed vans that drop you off right at the park gates. So Magic Kingdom can be a little bit tricky when it comes to travel times, and I would make sure to allow an hour between point A and point B in Disney World if you are trying to make a reservation or something that has a set time. Also keep in mind that Disney Transportation does close around the times the parks do. Most of the time it will stay open a bit past the park, but make sure you're keeping track of what time transportation closes so you don't end up stranded. Number 10. Big rookie mistake, skipping out on water because it's too expensive. If you've never been to Disney World, I have to warn you that you are likely going to see bottles of water that cost $4 or $6, and you might just think that is too much to spend on water. Now, that's true. The good news is there is free water all around Disney World at the quick service restaurants, but this comes in small cups. It's often ice water, so it's cooling, but it's usually very small cups. A little bit of a hassle to stop in and get a small cup of water with how much water you should be drinking when you are expending the energy you are from walking and standing out in the very hot Florida sun. Now, a couple of things to warn about the free water is that it is Florida water, so a lot of folks don't love the taste from most of the free water cups. So if you do purchase water, we won't judge. I do it sometimes just to get extra hydrated when I don't have my water bottle with me. But the biggest tip I'll give is to bring a reusable water bottle. You can refill this from the free water stations in most instances or from water bottle refills around the park. And this is the easiest way to actually stay fully hydrated because those little cups of water for me just don't cut it. So they just do not. And it's a hassle to carry a water bottle, but it is way worse to end up dehydrated on a 95-degree, 100% humidity day. Number 11, buying the first souvenir you see. Disney World has a lot of merchandise, like a lot of merchandise, and it can be hard not to immediately jump at what you think is the perfect souvenir. There are a ton of stores across Magic Kingdom. The big one is the Emporium right on Main Street, USA, and that's where you can grab a lot of different merchandise that you'll also find elsewhere around the park. But there are some specialty items you'll find in stores around the lands that are a little more themed to each land. For instance, my favorite store is called Plaza del Sol Caribe, and it's the store you exit through from Pirates of the Caribbean. It has a lot of pirate merch. There's like 5 different kinds of swords in there, fake swords. But I love pirate merch, so that's like my favorite place to shop. You don't want to spend your souvenir budget on the first thing you're excited about and then you can't use it later. The exception to this would be if you're going to get something like mini ears or a Mickey ear hat that you want to wear in the park. In that case, go ahead and buy it early so that you don't end up not getting your use out of it. And keep in mind that you'll have to carry this around all day, and that can be frustrating, and for me has even led to me losing something that I did really love because I just forgot to pick it up when I left the show. And that sucked because I really wanted that cup that I bought. So grab it on the way out instead. Just be warned that right when the park is closing, that Emporium store gets very busy. So make sure that you circle back, and maybe circle back a bit before park close to make sure that you get it without too many crowds. And those are some mistakes to avoid when you are headed to Magic Kingdom, whether you're a rookie or you've been 10,000 times. If you're still here, like this video and drop this secret code in the comments so we know you made it all the way. And don't forget to subscribe. We spend all week uploading tips, games, challenges, and more from Disney World and beyond because we're serious about fun here. I'll see you next time.